Alright, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic, Legend, Non-Classic. This is episode number 3372, Doubleshot 3266. Alright, I have two trades here, basically they have two main things in common. Actually, three main things in common. Number one, they're both read by Rob Kirkman. Number two, they're published in the Skybound imprint. And number three, set in the same universe. And plus, they previously a crossover. And another thing is that both these two series are about to wrap up, so I figured they'll wind up these together. This first one being Invincible, Volume 23, Full House. This contains issues 27 through 32 of Invincible. Written by Rob Kirkman, artwork by Cory Walker. Yeah, Ryan Adderley's not on these issues. Nope. So this one picks up right where we left off last time, where Mark is reunited with his daughter, Tara, who is now 5 years older. And she is very happy to see her father. She's not mad at the fact he was gone 5 years, the fact that she had disappeared. I mean, from her perspective, she's very happy to see him. And, well, everything's perfectly fine. And then, throughout this, it's revealed that, while Mark was gone for a few years, she had dated somebody who happens to be Alan's girlfriend's brother. And apparently he was good to her. Then they broke up because Mark is back. She also punched him. Yep. Alan's very happy to see him. And it's also revealed that apparently Oliver and his girlfriend had 2 kids. Also, Oliver has a mustache. Yep, Oliver in 5 years basically has not grown a mustache. And then everything's all fine. Then they decide to leave the planet. And then Mark basically, well, he doesn't know at first basically what's going on until a little bit later. And of course, they have a nice vacation home. And then they mention about somebody else. And of course, Oliver says goodnight to his girlfriend. And then it's revealed that he's actually an agent of Trag, who now has 5 kids. Yep, and then of course Trag, him and his kids living on a planet, and then we have a robot which is given to Tara in the previous issue, who has become basically a close friend, and Mark basically is very good to his daughter, and then of course basically Alan is with his girlfriend, or it seems like basically it's like this weird technical stuff seems like about this, but he's distracted because of work, but he does apologize to her. And of course he gets a call, it's like, emergency session. Yeah, except it's actually a trap. And of course, basically, yeah, because this one particular person that doesn't like him very much tried to overthrow him, but he is way too strong. He beat his bodyguards, and then she proceeded to blow up the assembly building. And of course, Mark, and then we see that, well, then they decide that, then we see where Rex is pretty much taken over the planet, and he's killed somebody with basically Adrian there, who apparently in 5 years has grown like a little Fu Manchu. And Alan has survived, but he basically spends this next issue, and this blue guy here, that's Alan's girlfriend's brother, and he's the one who dated Eve for a few years, and basically she's like, yeah, we're over because basically her man she loves is back. Yep, and then of course he starts to recover, where his arm is basically limbs are going back, like he's got his legs were going back over time, and then of course the Trag siblings, the Trag children basically are killing various aliens. The elements happen the fact that his son is back, his daughter-in-law, and his granddaughter. Yep. And they talk about the fact that, yeah, friends with Mark, and then Eve starts attacking Alyssa. Yeah, where she has changed. The fact that she's not the same person. And it's like, what'd you do to my son? Like, Yep, have to call it off. And then it's revealed, apparently, ever since Mark left, she has changed. She's taken a husband, and they have a kid. And, of course, they have a child together. And she has a son named Marky. Which you can tell by look at the kid. Yeah, that's Mark's son. Which he does not know until next door that's actually his child. He has no idea. No idea at all. Yeah, then we have where few of the heroes basically trying to clean up the world. This like Mark is just directs like, yeah, control the planet. And of course, basically, Mark tries to talk. He talks to Rex. He doesn't like it. Then of course he leaves and takes his daughter back to the vacation home. And then apparently, then we have Oliver who tells Trag where he is. Everything's going to be fine. And of course he's back. Alan goes to rehab. And then we have Trag killing more aliens, like he wants to kill Mark Grayson. And then the very next issue, we have all woken up. Of course, he's yelling like, "Please, loyal to the cause for reasons." And of course, you have Mark and Tara playing baseball. And then Trag's son shows up, basically destroys her robot, and she is not happy with it. And then, of course, basically, then Trag's daughter shows up, rips off Eve's leg, but luck of it's the robot leg. And she's like, "Mom, are you a robot?" "Just my leg, honey." And, of course, then Mark fights Trag's son. Eve fights Trag's daughter. They bump heads. And, of course, try to block her action. And then all of a sudden, flies her away, of course. Yeah. And, of course, about to fall. And then Eve basically comes in, just fights them. And, of course, more fighting. And then Tara's dropped and leads to the last part of this issue, where it turns out she actually can fly. But then she's caught by Trag, who Trag basically holds her hostage. And then Oliver shows up, where Trag proceeds to murder him. Yep, Trag murders Mark's brother Oliver. Of course, basically, it's like, "Leave my uncle," and of course gives a good kick, and breaks his, and somehow kicking him in the back, breaks her leg. And of course, Oliver's like, "No," and then Trag basically punches through his gut, killing him. Yeah, Oliver is dead. Oliver, who is Mark's brother, is dead. And then Mark kills Trag's son, which apparently he didn't care about his own offspring. And then his daughter tries to hurt Eve, and then Trag proceeds to rip apart Mark. Then Tara's crying over the fact her parents are dead. And then they reform, and then of course jokes, "I saw your butts." "I can see your butts." And of course, basically, like, yeah, and of course, putting on these new fancy suits, and like she fixed her leg too. Now you're probably thinking, like, okay, I get that. You probably think, oh, Eve could research her body, no problem. How should she because of Mark? Well, probably because basically that I'm guessing because they've slept together multiple times, and maybe some of her power maybe slipped into his body. So that's the reason why they've been forming, of course, since Oliver is dead. And of course, basically, it's like, and now we're leading to the final story arc of the series, which takes the last 12 issues. And of course, I'll discuss basically the next trade another time. But great trade. Give it roughly a 9.5 out of 10. Next up we have is another book in the universe, The Astounding Wolf-Man. Yes, this is see on the cover. Remember Kirkman arc by Jason Howard. Collect issues 13 to 18 of the series. So, yeah, Mark is basically confronted at his wife's grave, and they claim, "Oh, the fact that you murdered your wife," you're like, no, his wife was murdered inside of a garage, not a gravesite. And then he's like fighting these government agents who basically think that he killed his wife. Yeah, and of course, this is Chloe. Like, yeah. Yeah, self-defense. And of course, basically, Chloe does her own thing, and of course, well. And then we have basically Wolfman, where he's meets up with Cecile. This, of course, was well before I got killed off by Rex in the Invincible title. Yep, and Cecile being here is the only connection at this point. That's primarily the reason why I said review, because Cecile is in the title, because at the point I have I'm at Invincible, Cecile's been dead for some time. And of course, Wolfman's declared guilty, and then we have some fighting. Then we have the man who killed basically Wolfman's wife, and then he's like training somebody, like possibly be like his sire per se, basically an apprentice. And of course, basically the Wolfman is found guilty. There's some killing per se. And of course, he has to wear there's a guy wearing a hood over his head, and more training and lots of stuff happening here. And then, of course, they still think he murdered his wife, despite like he did not. Then he basically get the collar taken off him, where then he proceeds to murder some guards. Yep, starts a full-blown riot. It's like, nobody screws my face. Yes, the guy basically looks like this. A Two-Face. Yep, a little Two-Face, which gets ripped off. Well, and then, of course, basically the Wolfman gets apparently put into what looks to be solitary confinement. He wakes up, and of course, he gets clothes up, he gets new clothes. And then we have another connection to Invincible. We have Evil Mark. Yeah, this is Evil Mark from another universe. He shows up, and he, of course, does some stuff here. My guess is to deal with what's going on in the Invincible title. So, then, the whole thing gets debated with him getting out, and then we have another hero who kind of breaks him out. And then we have the guy who murdered him to show up here. It's like, yeah, and of course they begin to fight. Yeah, this is the guy who murdered his wife. They have more characters show up here just to fight the Wolfman. And he's staked by him. Of course, like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? He saves, of course, Zachariah, and of course, here his apprentice, where she proceeds to try to kill him. It's like, yeah. But, so yeah, this girl's actually Wolfman's daughter, and then she proceeds to stab him. But don't worry, he doesn't die because there's still more issues, and we have more people trying to fight Wolfman. He Fox Line saying his daughter. Cecile shows up to pick the pieces. I bet your name is Zachariah. I knew you were awake. We're going to arrest you now, considering the sun's going to come up. I was seeing no objections. I did anything illegal. I hate to break it to you. I know Gary Hampton. I believe everything he has to say about you. So you like her or not, we're going to spend some time together. Yep. And he's taking the cut. And of course, basically, like, and of course, like, the funny is, listen to me. Your dad, Gary Hampton. Let her go. She's me. Yep. And more preparing for revenge. And of course, going to the Pentagon. And of course, then Wolfman puts on the outfit he has the cover, which is really cool. Like, Bear be a superhero. Zachariah's in custody. Yeah. Really cool stuff here. And we have basically this elder show up, this guy, this other wolf here, and then that's it. Yeah. Now, I believe Wolfman has got one more trailer to go, and he's done. And that's, like I said, that's probably the reason I review these together. They're both from Ron Kirkman, and it's in the same universe, so why not? Yep. So yeah, that's pretty much a particular video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. I will see you all tomorrow for One Piece, Rama Half, Spy X Family, Gojuju, and a couple new anime, okay? And maybe Doctor Who. Okay, next video.